Thanksgiving ceremony.
In the East Rand, academic activities at the Rondebult Primary School in Ekurhuleni have been halted due to an issue with scholar transport operators. Some drivers are refusing to offer their services due to payment issues with the Gauteng Education Department. In a statement yesterday, the department acknowledged that some invoices were unpaid. Jabulile Mbata reports.
Yesterday, some learners from the Rondebult Primary School were affected when buses contracted to the Department of Education did not show up. The drivers abandoned their vehicles due to non-payment of invoices. As a result of disruptions yesterday, the school has decided to temporarily halt academic activities. A parent whose child uses private scholar transport said his child left the house at 7 in the morning and to his surprise came back at 9.
Now I'm one of those concerned parents. By
9 o'clock, my child was back home. The lady that transports him told me that the school told him to turn back because some scholar transport drivers are on strike, so there will be no schooling.
He says there has been no message from the teachers or emails from the school to inform parents of why the learners are having their schooling interrupted. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, Rondebult.
In the Western Cape, the DA in the province has claimed victory in both the Langeberg and Cederberg by-elections after unseating the ANC. The party says it secured almost double the number of votes in both wards compared to the local government elections. The by-elections were triggered after former ANC councillors in Langeberg and Cederberg defected to the DA last year. DA Western Cape leader Tertius Simmers.
A special thank you to the voters of Cederberg and Langeberg for voting DA. Your vote sends a powerful message that you want effective governance and real delivery.
Staying in the Western Cape, calls for Cape Town residents to play their part in saving water are growing wider amid a 60% capacity water storage and below average rainfall. Climate expert Professor Peter Johnstone says consumers can use most cost-effective water-saving devices around their homes to reduce water wastage. He adds that conservative water consumption is not only the city's responsibility.
I'm going to throw out a crazy suggestion that maybe people should stop complaining about what the city is doing and not doing and think about what we as citizens can do. We should be thinking about saving water, introducing water-saving measures into our house voluntarily.
Gold's trading at $5,059.40 an ounce. The rand's at 15.99 to the dollar, at 21.92 to the pound, at 18.89 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $67.53 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in Edenville, heading towards Bedfordview, slow-moving traffic, R24 westbound. This is between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. Also driving through Sandton. There's slow-moving traffic on the M1 southbound between Greyston Drive and Ethel Oakland.
A look at your weather. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 27 and 30 degrees. Cape Town's cloudy with isolated showers and thunder showers this afternoon, along with moderate southeasterly winds at a high of 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. DA Leader John Steenhuisen has confirmed his withdrawal from the party's leadership contest.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, John Steenhuisen won't run for a third term as a DA leader. He says it is mission accomplished. Jacob Zuma loses a court bid to thwart his arms deal corruption case. South Africa continues in AGOA for another year. COSATU welcomes the increase on minimum wage. And it's World Read Aloud Day. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. As I said to you 24 hours ago, 24 hours is a short time in politics in South Africa. Anything can happen. But alas, what we thought was going to happen happened, didn't it? John Steenhuisen saying that he won't be bidding for a third term as Democratic Alliance leader. Essentially, what he has said is that he feels that it's mission accomplished. He feels that he now needs to focus on being the Minister of Agriculture and dealing with foot and mouth disease. The obvious question, and I think the reason that John Steenhuisen is not really doing interviews, because we have asked him to come on, is did he go or was he pushed? And I think that's the big question, is, did he walk or was he pushed? And I think that's the one that we're going to have to ask. We'll speak to various farming organizations as well about how he's done as the Minister of Agriculture and what they think about him staying on. John Steenhuisen also saying that he believes that it's mission accomplished as DA leader, that he has done everything he promised to do as DA leader. Do you think he has been the best leader for the Democratic Alliance over the past 6-7 years? 6-7. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It just happened. Do you think he's been the best leader he could the DA has had? Is it how do you measure it in terms of growth? Is it in terms of the fact that he's led the DA into national government? What are your thoughts on that? Send me a WhatsApp voice note 072 7021 702 072 567 1567. And then who do you think should lead the DA? It does seem as though Jordan Hill-Lewis is anointed as the next leader. I know lots of people speculating that funders have anointed him. Does that really matter? It is a democratic process, the way that the DA does elect a leader. Who do you think it's going to be? Let me know what you think. But let's start with Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time today. You were at that briefing. Give us a sense of the mood. We had some allies of John Steenhuisen who were there. How did it go today?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mandy. A number of John Steenhuisen's allies were present today, including Dean McPherson, Ashol Sarupin as well, who is the current Deputy Minister for Finance. And Ashol Sarupin is one of those leaders in the Democratic Alliance who's been in, John Steenhuisen's camp for many years. In fact, he ran his campaign to become the leader of the Democratic Alliance at the conference in 2020 and at the last conference in 2023. So a number of his allies were here clapping on as he was making the announcement that he's withdrawing from that leadership race. So as far as the mood is concerned, it seemed as though they came out to support him. They believe that maybe this is the best decision. But it's unfortunate, Mandy, that we could not speak to him. He refused to speak to the media. There were no questions posed to him today.
So take us through what he had to say.
Yeah, he started the presser this morning, giving a number of his achievements since he got into office in 2019. He claims that he is possibly one of the most successful leaders of the Democratic Alliance. He says that the previous leaders won Cape Town and the Western Cape for the Democratic Alliance, and then they won some municipalities. They improved and got into municipal coalitions. But he says his legacy is that of a leader who led the Democratic Alliance to national government. And he says for him that was his biggest priority. That was his top achievement. And it's mission accomplished, according to him. That's the one thing that he wanted to do for the Democratic Alliance, is to get them from the opposition benches of parliament and into the executive. Let's take a listen to what, according to him, are some of his achievements.
It's mission accomplished for me. I have delivered on everything that I promised my party when I was first elected as federal leader back in 2019. I proudly picked up this party's banner when its internal polling was down to just 16%, and after the media declared the death of the DA. Built on a simple message that I believe that there was nothing wrong with the DA that couldn't be fixed by everything that is right with the DA. I worked hard with others who love our party to not only resurrect the party's fortunes, but we've also carried it to new heights. Previous chapters of our party's history were marked by the party becoming the official opposition and entering provincial government in the Western Cape. My term will be remembered for leading the DA into national government.
So that's what he has to say about his own accomplishments. And then what did he have to say about his decision not to run for a third term?
He claims that it's a personal decision, Mandy, and unfortunately we could not have that conversation and pose those questions to him of whether his hand was forced. But he claims that he made the decision voluntarily especially now that there's a foot and mouth disease outbreak. He claims that it's time to focus solely on that mission of rescuing the country's farmers and the farms from this foot and mouth outbreak. He says that he cannot give attention to both the party's campaign for the upcoming local government elections and also give attention to his role as cabinet minister. So he needs to focus on his job as a minister and pave the way for the next DA leader. So let's take a listen to that announcement, which according to him, he made voluntarily.
I today announced that I will not seek re-election for a third term as the DA federal leader at the party's upcoming federal congress. And I do so with a full heart, knowing that I've accomplished my DA moonshot mission and that my work in government now requires me to similarly pour my heart and soul and all of my energies into defeating foot and mouth disease. I also do so in the knowledge that I, in April, will hand over the reins to a fundamentally healthier party than the one that I inherited.
And his full focus is now going to be on Agriculture Minister.
Of course, he says between now and April, which is the end of his term, he's going to be focusing on dealing with this foot and mouth disease outbreak. And there was a little bit of confusion caused by his speech, Mandy, saying that between now and the end of his term in April as the DA leader, he'll remain in cabinet. So we did not get a chance to ask him what would then happen after his term as the leader of the Democratic Alliance happens, but he says between now and then he's certainly going to remain in cabinet, and that's what his future is. He said the next DA leader who's going to be elected at the party's Federal Elective Congress in April, their job is going to have to be to lead the party to become the first or the biggest party in South Africa. He says the next leader will have the challenging task of overtaking the ANC when it comes to the number of votes. So he says that the person who's going to be elected in April will have to deal with that massive task. Let's take a listen to what's next for John Steenhuisen.
Because I now have another mission, and it is urgent. For the rest of this term of office, I will focus all of my time and energy as Minister of Agriculture on defeating the most devastating foot and mouth disease outbreak our country has ever seen, and to pursue the mass vaccination to ensure that this is the last mass outbreak of FMD that our country ever sees.
Alpha Ramashwana, thank you very much for wrapping up that press conference for us. So do you buy it? Do you buy the story that he wants to focus on being the agriculture minister on the foot and mouth disease, and that he feels that it's mission accomplished, or was he pushed? John Steenhuisen not doing interviews, it seems, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I think this speaks to a broader issue within the Democratic Alliance about how fractured it actually is. I've described it as Game of Thrones, and I think that there is a lot of dissent over the GNU and the decision to go into the GNU and the proximity to the ANC now. So I think we're going to see a pretty a contested leadership battle now. It's not going to be outright for sure that it's Jordan Hill-Lewis. Is he anointed, or do you think there are alternatives? Could we see a Saviwe Gwagube, a Solly Malatsi, a Dean McPherson, a Celeste Brink potentially coming forward? What are your thoughts on where this leaves the Democratic Alliance?
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Well, much of the commentary around John Steenhuisen's decision to not contest for the leadership of the DA has been around how he's handled the foot and mouth disease outbreak in South Africa as agriculture minister. Well, it seems as though he's doubling down and he's going to keep managing that. Well, what do farmers think about that? What should be happening? Do we need a state-controlled vaccination process, or are there alternatives? Let's speak now to Dr. Gideon Bruckner from the World Organization for Animal Health, who joins us. Dr. Bruckner, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. What are your thoughts on how government has handled this and what could be happening?
Good afternoon. Yeah, I think the main, what the minister did announce is that they are now embarking on a 10-year control program plan for vaccination in terms of the guidelines of the World Organization for Animal Health. If they do that, then they must abide by certain things to qualify to eventually get the country free again from foot-and-mouth disease. And one of the things that they need to abide to is that they only can use vaccine that are manufactured in terms of the standards of the World Organization for Animal Health, and that they must have control over the purchase of the vaccine, not necessarily the vaccination itself. That can be done by private veterinarians and animal health technicians.
Is there a sense amongst animal health practitioners and the community in general that government has mismanaged this, that more could have been done quicker?
Yeah, it's difficult. There are many ways to look at it. What is true is that, unfortunately, when the disease in South Africa moved to the previous free area in 2019, I think there was a lot of slow progress in really tackling the disease head on at that stage, and it was given a chance, with the lack of movement control, with the lack of quick action, to move from the infected areas in Limpopo province, eventually to the rest of the country, and eventually infecting 8 provinces, which is unheard in South Africa, and it's actually a big problem for the farming community. So yes, if you look at it that way, it could have been handled much more decisively and quicker when the disease moved into the free area in 2019.
We are now seeing the Agriculture Minister doubling down. He's going to focus on foot and mouth. What would your advice be to him?
Yeah, I think it'll give him more chance to really focus on the foot and mouth problem, because at this stage, I think it's probably difficult. And then what also worries me is that he should scale down on the number of advisors, because there are a lot of people now climbing onto the bandwagon and giving themselves out as experts on foot and mouth disease that never even have seen the disease or worked with infection. So that he get around him core people that can really help him to tackle the disease head on, rather than criticizing and throwing stones.
Dr. Gideon, thank you very much. Dr. Gideon Bruckner, World Organization for Animal Health, speaking to us there about the foot and mouth outbreak. And absolutely, we do need a primary focus. I mean, John Steenhuisen's argument is that he would have spent 3 months campaigning for the DA leadership and focusing on the local government elections. But do you buy that? On the WhatsApp line, Stanley says, Glynis Breitenbach for DA leader. And then, hi Mandy, John Steenhuisen is not performing as a Minister of Agriculture and very childish as he refused to be interviewed. And then TT says, hi Mandy, what is the significance of Steenhuisen announcing this news? Their party serves a tiny minority. Which black Indian colour person benefits significantly from the DA? The DA affects me in zero way, but only promoting white supremacy and segregation and racism. What must I do with this useless information from Steenhuisen? Okay, but to be fair, they do have over 20% of the vote in South Africa in the last national election. They are a major part of the government of national unity, and I do think that they're going to play a bigger role in coalitions going forward. So, of course, there's national interest in this, and who leads the party may determine whether they stay in the GNU or not. So I have to counter that argument by saying it does affect a lot of people. They would argue that many black-coloured and Indian voters voted for them in the democratic in the last democratic elections. But thank you for sharing that view. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa, with 1.6 billion rand unlocked for entrepreneurs through our Impact Finance Network and 25.9 billion rand invested through our Kumba Iron Ore business into infrastructure development, healthcare, community upliftment, and more. These are just a few examples that show when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. As a proud sponsor of the Investing in African Mining Indaba, we are working with our partners to unlock mining's full potential. South Africa has a partner, Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
On average, you'll spend 83,000 3,200 hours working. That's 3,466 days. 20% of that time will be spent in meetings that should have been emails. 10% spent aligning on the misalignment the previous meeting caused. And the rest of the time, waiting for your laptop to update so you can resend that extremely urgent presentation due yesterday because your boss forgot to download it 2 weeks ago. And now, the link has expired. Oh, life taxes you. So invest tax-free from as little as 250 Rand per month.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Mandy. On the issue of John Steenhuisen, and DA, I think it's about time that DA reconsider having a federal leader who's a female, black, because that party has got capable people. Yom Popalatse, Yosebue Kwahube, and the like. So if they are really serious about turning the tide and maintaining what they have, I think they'll have to consider having a female leader. John, I think John was pushed.
Good day, Mandy. I'm a 50-year-old white Afrikaans-speaking male, and I'm a reluctant DA voter. I'm glad John Steenhuisen is gone, and I don't think he had the stature ever of a leader or a great leader. He was just the next man for the job, in line for the DA job. I'm glad he's gone. I think the DA can go on to better things. Couldn't wait for this press conference to be over. Thanks, Joe.
Mandy, I heard what you did there. 6-7.
I didn't mean to do it. It's so 2025. It just came out. I'm sorry. I'm glad I provided some amusement. I love this message from JB. He says, I can only imagine how much Sidi would have enjoyed reporting on the leadership issue of the DA. Much missed. I've been thinking about Sidi so much the last 24 hours. She would have relished this. Her analysis would have been unbelievable. And just how amusing she would have been on it. Her take on the DA. Lots of WhatsApp voice notes coming through about John Steenhuisen. Keep sending them. Listen, don't underestimate how affable John Steenhuisen is. He's a hell of a popular guy within the party, or at least he was. That obviously may have shifted now somewhat. But the people who are close to him really are loyal to him, and that's certainly my sense. But what do you think? I think that if we're going to see a black female leader of the DA, it needs to be authentic. It cannot be manufactured. So they need to not appoint somebody just for the sake of being a black female leader. It needs to be authentic leadership and true empowerment. It can't be window dressing. So I think a big challenge for the DA now.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays 12 to 1 p.m.
Well, 26 years after the 1999 arms deal corruption allegedly took place, the matter back in court again today. And former President Jacob Zuma with another legal blow. That's because both the bid by him and the French arms company Thales being scoped out, being dismissed, that application for leave to appeal by both Zuma and Thales. Khamotso Modise, EWN reporter, following that story for us. Tell us about this application. What exactly was it?
Well, Mandy, the application was for leave to appeal after, in June, the same court, the Pietermaritzburg High Court, dismissed an application by Zuma and Thales for the charges against them to be dropped, essentially. And the logic and the reasoning that they'd used then was that two of their witnesses, key witnesses, had died. And they said that as a result, they wouldn't have a fair trial. They don't have any more, or it seems they believe the value that those witnesses would bring to their case could not be replaced by any other witness. The court in June already had dismissed that application, saying they should find more witnesses and there should be more witnesses available to testify on their behalf. Now, they then brought an application for leave to appeal because they clearly want to escalate the matter to the Supreme Court. And today, the judge Nkosinathi clearly saying that he does not believe that a different court will find that he misapplied the law, and he doesn't believe that a different court would make a different finding in this matter. And so he has dismissed their application for leave to appeal.
So what does this mean now going forward?
Well, it means that if former President Jacob Zuma and Thalers are okay with going ahead, which is very unlikely, they would then continue with the trial. What's likely to happen now, though, is that they would escalate the matter to the Supreme Court, bring that application before them, a special plea before the Supreme Court, and then a decision would be made as to whether, by the Supreme Court, whether they can appeal. If leave to appeal is granted by the SCA, a decision will be made as to whether they can appeal in the SCA or they could take the matter back to the High Court.
And could they petition the Constitutional Court as well, potentially?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, so they're going to just kick this thing around forever. Are we ever going to hear the merits of this case?
It seems that, Mandy, I keep saying that it doesn't seem like the former President Jacob Zuma wants the merits to be heard at this stage, and he insists that for him there wouldn't be a clear, or the truth wouldn't be coming out because he doesn't have the witnesses that he needs to bring before the courts in order to answer to this case. So it's a difficult one.
I saw him at the AmaZulu Pirates game last night. The former president. It was last night.
I wasn't watching.
Yeah, I saw former President Jacob. I mean, he's doing pretty well considering. I didn't expect you to know that. It wasn't really in your purview. Don't worry. But I was quite surprised. I saw former President Jacob Zuma at the AmaZulu Pirates game last night, and I thought, hey, you've got a big day tomorrow. You've got your decision on your leave to appeal in the High Court in Durban. Well, that decision now being made, Judge Nkosinati Chile had dismissed that application by Zuma and Thalers. They brought an application for leave to appeal. That's now been dismissed. Now he goes to the Supreme Court of Appeal. That's going to be a whole process. Then he goes to the Con Court. That's going to be a whole process. We're never going to hear the merits of this case, and it just feels like it's for perpetuity. The fact that we'll never really get to the end of an arms deal trial involving Jacob Zuma in South Africa. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Outgoing DA leader John Steenhuisen says he intends to focus primarily on his role as Minister of Agriculture following his decision to withdraw from the party's leadership race. Speaking at a media briefing in Durban today, Steenhuisen confirmed he will complete his term as DA leader but will not seek re-election at the party's Federal Congress in April. He believes he has fulfilled his goal of leading the party from opposition into the national executive. In the capital, Witness F has confessed to sharing a warrant of arrest with alleged criminal tenderpreneur Vusmusi Kat Matlala in relation to a controversial entertainment blogger, Musa Kaula. Just weeks prior to the warrant being issued, Gauteng head of organized crime, Richard Shibiri, pleaded with Kaula to refrain from publishing a story on Matlala. WhatsApp messages between Shibiri and Kaula were presented before the Madlanga Commission. And Iran has formally allowed women to ride motorcycles. The previous law did not explicitly prohibit women from riding motorbikes and scooters, but in practice, authorities refused to issue licenses. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 1 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon. I'm Mawanda Mateza. The Nedbank Cup round of 32 kicks off tonight with two matches taking place. The biggest of those will see Stellenbosch FC hosting the defending champions Kaizer Chiefs at DHL Stadium in Cape Town. Amakhosi have had the upper hand over Stellies in the past few seasons, but the most recent encounter between the two ended in a penalty shootout for the Cape Winelands side in the Carling knockout back in October. And Chiefs co-coach Cedric Kaze acknowledges there'll be a huge weight of expectation on them as they look to defend their title.
The pressure is there, despite even the fact that being champions is a club like Kaizer Chiefs have pressure on a daily basis. That's what comes with the badge, and we know that the pressure will be there, and we will cope with it.
Kickoff is at 7 p.m, while tonight's other game is between Mamelodi Sundowns and lower league side Gomora United, also kicking off at 7. While in the Betway Premiership last night, Orlando Pirates beat AmaZulu 2-0 to go 3 points clear at the top of the table, 3 points clear above Sundowns. Manchester City and title holders Newcastle will do battle in the Carabao Cup tonight as well. That is for a place in the final where they'll play Arsenal. City carry a 2-goal lead into the second leg. Kickoff is at 10 p.m. And this year's Winter Olympics get underway this week. Team South Africa will be represented by a squad of 5, the country's biggest in modern games history. Cross-country skier Matthew Smith and skeleton athlete Nicole Berger have been selected as South Africa's flag bearers for the opening ceremony on Friday. Mawanda Mateza, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour, if you're traveling through Boksburg heading towards Benoni, there's bumper traffic. This is on the N12 westbound between the R21 Rietfontein Road and Atlas Road. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is driving through Sandton on the M1 southbound between Grayston Drive and Athol Oaklands. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Rudaport at Christian de Wet and Paul Kruger. And in the mother city, there's that broken down truck. N2 incoming. This is approaching the M5. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a shift worker making his way home and daydreaming about his next career move, his next chapter. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a possible light bulb moment that could change someone's life. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This message is brought to you by Eskom, redefining for a better future.
Are you running a business? Every rand counts. Save electricity and cut costs by switching off lights, computers, and aircons after hours. Use energy-efficient lighting and equipment and make saving electricity part of your daily routine. Smart energy habits mean lower bills and greener business future. Let's power success efficiently.
Let's use electricity wisely. Eskom.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, afternoon, Mandy. Well, I think we should give the man a chance because he has put his reasons forward. Like he has to look at his portfolio now. And then I think there's a lot for him to do as a minister. So he also stated that he won't be able to go through all the provinces campaigning. And at the same time, he's got this problem that's facing the country now, you know. So let's give him a chance. Maybe his hand has been forced, but the truth will tell as time goes on after April, actually. It's Pat here.
Dumela, Mandy and team, Kingsley from Germiston. Of all the DA leaders in my lifetime, Steenhuisen, despite tooting his own horn, is probably the least convincing. Not surprisingly, Mr. Steenhuisen avoided dealing with his many blunders. But the question is, who exactly within the DA forced him to jump? Also, the amount of shade that DA leaders past and present continue to throw at Musi Maimane is quite extraordinary. Someone ought to remind the DA leader that it is not he who determines whether he leaves behind a successful legacy. The summary of what he had to say was basically that Mr. Steenhuisen finds a cushy ministerial post far more beneficial than remaining political party leader. Kingsley from Germiston.
Thanks, Kingsley. Thanks very much for all of those WhatsApp messages. Lots of people with views about John Steenhuisen. I've been reading some of the social media commentary as well. And I do think that John's become a lot more divisive than he used to be. And I think that's since he's been the Minister of Agriculture. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. I see Jordan Hill-Lewis has posted on Twitter applauding John Steenhuisen for his leadership, how he's left the DA in a better place than what he found it in 2019. Dean McPherson, the Public Works Minister, has also posted on X an article linking back to, I think it's a News 24 article, when John Steenhuisen Steenhuisen took over. And essentially, their argument is John Steenhuisen has done a good job, that it is mission accomplished, that he's left the DA in a better position than what he found it. Keep sending those WhatsApp voice notes, 072 702 1702, 072 567 1567.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Well, let's go to the Madlanga Commission, where Witness F was expected to return today. There was all of that drama yesterday around Witness F, the commission being presented with WhatsApp messages and screenshots and voice notes that were arguing in support of a potential postponement. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, joining us in studio. What ultimately happened today?
We picked up where we left off, Mandy, yesterday, still going through the WhatsApp chats between Witness F and several notable figures, including senior ranking police officers. He seems to have played this facilitator position. I would liken him to a Brown Mokgotsi, a peddler of information, but not to that extent, more of a facilitator within SAPS's ranks. So he was facilitating, allegedly, from the evidence that we've been shown, messages between the suspended DNC, Shadrach Sibia, Kat Matlala, as well as the Gauteng head of organized crime, Richard Chibiri. We've heard about a specific case of relevance, I would think, in the greater scheme of the Madlanga Commission, in that of a entertainment blogger, Musa Kawula. There was a warrant of arrest issued out for him, and apparently or allegedly, General Shadrach Sibia sent that warrant of arrest to Witness F and told him, send it to Kat. And Witness F sends this warrant of arrest to Vuzi Muzi Kat Matlala. But just prior to that, the head of organized crime in the province, Richard Chibiri, had requested that Musa Kawula does not write a specific article on Kat Matlala. And the messages between Richard Chibiri and Musa Kawula were pulled up. And then 3 weeks later, there's all of a sudden a warrant out for his arrest for contravening the Cybercrimes Act. So I think essentially the commission is coming down hard on Witness F. He's this police officer with a responsibility to keep sensitive information to him. And despite being instructed by a superior, he should have taken the call not to share that warrant of arrest with Vuzi Muzi Kat Matlala.
What all of this is telling us, Oren, is what goes on in the dark corners where police operatives are in close proximity to shady businessmen, operatives. This is all like what goes on behind the scenes, pressure to squash a story, documents being shown where they shouldn't be shown. What kind of insight is this giving us? Is the Madlanga Commission affording us? And how much are we learning that we didn't know before?
I think more than we wanted to know, Mandy, because the deeper we get into the rot that is SAPS and everything around it, the more we're understanding that we're so far from where we need to be as a country within law enforcement. I think one of the issues that we're picking up here is how deep does it go? We've just scratched the surface of Gauteng, and I think the saying that I've continuously heard from law enforcement officials is that if we can get crime in Gauteng right, we can get it right in the rest of the country. So for us, just scratching the surface of what's going on in these allegations of the criminal justice system being captured in Gauteng, what about the other 8 provinces? What's going on there? And how far does this network and these cartels run within SAPS and law enforcement in the country?
Witness F, the way you described it, has created some problems for Shadrach Sibia specifically, right?
More than enough problems. I think I wouldn't say he's thrown Shadrach Sibia under the bus, because remember, he would in some instances report to Shadrach Sibia when Sibia was in the role of Deputy National Commissioner. But I think at the end of the day, Mandy, it's every man for themselves right now. If you're called to testify before the commission, I think what everyone is trying to do is to try and ensure that they come out as clean as they can to save their reputation and save their jobs, essentially, because from everyone that's appeared before the commission, with the exception of Dumisani Kumalo and Nhlanhla Mkhonazi and Fani Masimola, I think there are a lot of questions hanging over their head. And Shadrach Sabia, coming in after witness F's testimony as it stands, is going to have a whole lot more questions to answer.
Oren, thank you very much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, taking a look there at the Madlanga Commission, where witness F is currently still testifying.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
So as of the 1st of March 2026, the national minimum wage is going to rise from 28 Rand 79 cents to 30 Rand 23 cents. So just over 30 Rand is per hour. That is the national minimum wage. So that's an increase of inflation plus 1.5%. 5% in total, or 1 Rand 44. Let's get some reaction from COSATU on this. Zanele Sabela is the spokesperson for COSATU and joins us now. Zanele, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time today. What is your reaction to this announcement on the national minimum wage?
Hi, Mandy. Thank you so much for having us. We welcome it. Although COSATU had proposed a much higher increase in terms of inflation. We said inflation plus 3%, but we are happy that the final proposal is actually inflation plus 1.5%. It is above inflation, and therefore it will keep up what the Act, the National Minimum Wage Act says, which says that it shouldn't be eroded by inflation, because that way it might plunge workers deeper into debt and poverty. And so we are happy that it is an above inflation increase.
Lots of positive here in the sense that it will provide stimulus to the economy, it will spur growth, it will create jobs, but still more work does need to be done, and you're calling for more engagements with the Presidency and Treasury.
We are, certainly, because you know that the community and expanded public works programs, the workers there are only still being paid 16 Rand 0.62 cents. And they should be coming up to where everyone else is. You'll know that when it was first introduced in 2019, that domestic workers were being paid 15 Rands, while some workers were being paid 18 Rands. But in the meantime, they have now caught up with everyone else, and we want the same for these workers who essentially are working for government. They should also come up to where the national minimum wage is. It has done a lot because, it's lifted about 6 million workers out of poverty. This was aimed at farm workers, domestic workers, construction, retail, transport, hospitality, security, and cleaning. Some of them who were making as little as 6 Rand per hour when it first was introduced. So it has been a good thing.
What about how this is monitored? Is COSATU satisfied with whether or not this is actually being abided by business owners?
So that is a thing that we are concerned about, because in terms of enforcement, we are happy that the Minister of Employment and Labour is intending to bring on about 20,000 more inspectors, labour inspectors, into the fold so that they can go on. They have the powers to actually visit a business unannounced and actually make sure that, minimum wage is being paid. And now they also have powers to make sure that the pension fund contributions of workers are being paid to the pension funds to make sure that their investments grow until they can actually go on pension. So that is important because in terms of enforcement, we are aware that there are those employers who just haven't been complying, and we also call on organized business to make sure that, this is something that has to be done. It is the law. And basically it sets a floor. It sets a floor to say, people shouldn't be earning less than this, because as we know, we still have the problem of poverty and inequality in this country, and this is what is aimed at making sure that we do away with that.
Zanele, thank you very much. Zanele Sabela, spokesperson for COSATU, reacting there to the increase in the national minimum wage.
Imagine a holiday where the only thing on the to-do list is to enjoy yourself. With NCL, world-class dining, award-winning entertainment and a variety of onboard experiences come as standard. So enjoying yourself is easy breezy. We sail to over 400 destinations worldwide, including Europe, the Caribbean and beyond. Your dream cruise is calling. Visit ncl.com for the best deals or contact your travel agent today. Conditions apply. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here.
The average person will hear their boss say, quick one, 3,476 times during their life. And it's never a quick one. In fact, it's a very long one that forces you to cancel your anniversary dinner at the restaurant with the Michelin star chef and then work through the weekend only to arrive on Monday and be told that the client has decided to go in a different direction. Life taxes you, so invest tax-free from as little as 250 Rand per month.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
For news on South African industry and mining, Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly has you covered. Click through to Creamer Media's Engineering News each day for the latest on the people and companies shaping the energy transition and South African industry. Keep your finger on the critical minerals pulse by visiting Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. For deeper insight, subscribe to the Engineering News and Mining Weekly magazine, out on Fridays. Creamer Media, current, credible, comprehensive.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hello, Mandy, on John Steenhuisen. I'm actually quite excited by this news, and I think it's a real opportunity for the DA to obviously chance for renewal. I really feel the yoke of being a party that speaks for the minorities being hanging around their necks for long enough. And they need to show South Africa that they are a party for the people that speaks for the people. We already know the governance is sound. So put Solly there. If you're listening, put Solly there and you'll have my vote.
Hi, afternoon, Mandy. Maparia from Midday Report. Regarding John Steenhuisen issue, you said if we buy it, no, we don't buy it because we broke. We don't buy it, Shem. And here's my 2 cents worth. I think they told him to step down, and in turn, the negotiators say, okay, step down, and they'll just let you keep the minister role.
Hi, Mandy. Look, people who are actually criticizing, they have a right to criticize the minister, but I feel like we shouldn't have to give up on him. I think it's been 2 years, and ANC stuff up for 35 years, and I believe people who are criticizing a minister, they didn't even vote for DA. I did vote for DA. Let's give him, even if we can give him 35 years. Yeah, he deserves it. Or we deserve it. And we have to criticize somebody, maybe after 7 years at least. Because look what ANC did to this country.
Thank you very much. Lots of differing views there. On the WhatsApp line, Sean says, hi, Mandy. You played a voice note earlier with the caller stating that the DA was a white supremacist party. The next voice note was a call for a black female leader for the DA. I fully see the need for a black leader, male or female, and believe a woman would be a better choice in attracting voters. But to call the DA a white supremacist party shows the sad misinformation and hogwash some of our fellow citizens are fed daily. I so wish many more in society could travel around the country. Better would be to visit overseas and see what we have and can achieve here in South Africa. Many thanks. P.S. John was pushed after his credit card story and run in with Deon George, with the DA sadly losing Deon George in hindsight for not managing John Steenhuisen with tighter reins. Just my thoughts. Sure, thanks very much. I don't think it's fair necessarily to call it a white supremacist party, but people have got deep entrenched views about this. Let's find another one. Helen says, minimum wage, wouldn't it be marvelous if the old age grant beneficiaries were to receive an amount equal to the minimum wage? Interesting view there. Good day, Wendy. Where do we report non-compliance for national minimum wage? From Glenn in Sebokeng. The Labour Department, they've got inspectors. So I imagine you would do that. Lots of views coming through. Keep sending them. 072 7021 702 072 567 1567. A last one from Simon. Hi, Mandy. As an ANC voter, it would be a big loss to the country if the DA later decides to remove John from the GNU. From where I'm standing, I think those in the DA who are opposing John are not happy that the GNU has brought him or the party too close to the ANC and Ramaphosa for their liking. Thanks, Simon.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
So I just spent a good few minutes reading aloud to you. That's because it's World Read Aloud Day today. And it's something we always mark because, firstly, I'm passionate about literacy and reading. And I don't think that literacy is something that you necessarily need to do in isolation. There's such great opportunities to read to one another, to read to our children, to promote literacy. So let's unpack this a bit further with the Publishing Association's Literacy Committee, Helene Kutsia, who joins us now. Helene, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time today. What is important to know about World Read Aloud Day?
Mandy, the most important thing on World Read Aloud Day is to remember that reading is fun. Stories are meant to be shared and stories are meant to be enjoyed. And I think at the heart of World Read Aloud Day is the message that it's all about fun and being together.
And what are some good ways that we could be innovative about this? It's not just about opening a book and reading. There's different ways we can think about this.
Yeah, you can work it into your calendar. I'm a big fan of put it in the diary, put reading in the diary. Just like you have to remember to fetch the kids at soccer at 3 o'clock, you must remember to read at 6:15 tonight. And also don't overcomplicate it. It takes 15 minutes to read through a storybook. So never say you don't have time. Just make time for the reading. And this year our campaign is supporting Nali Bali as every year, where we pledge to make action on the day to read aloud to someone.
But it doesn't have to be someone, because I laughed out loud at your World Read Aloud Day bingo. I think Pan McMillan shared it on Instagram. I've also shared it now, suggesting that you can read to a stuffed animal or read to a pet or a plant.
Yes, exactly. I don't have children, so I don't have a little person to read to, but that doesn't mean I can't take part. I had my Pokemon and I read the Gruffalo out loud to him because it helped me with my pronunciation, because English is not my first language. And on the bingo chart, we have reading in your pajamas, read outside in the fresh air, and it doesn't have to be an event. Just literally tonight when you're in your pajamas, go out into your courtyard and read in the fresh air. Do something a little different. Read to a stuffed animal. Read by flashlight instead of by the overhead light. I almost said instead of by candlelight, but read by candlelight. And with the bingo chart, the idea was to show people that reading isn't just sitting in a corner kind of activity. It can be fun, it can be interactive, and it can also just get you thinking, because isn't that the core of what stories do, is they get us thinking and they get the creative juices flowing.
Helena, we know from the Pearl study released a couple of years ago just how low the literacy rates in South Africa is and how few grade 4 learners can read for meaning. You mentioned Nali Bali and the work being done to promote literacy in South Africa. Where are we, and how much work still needs to be done on that?
We are very far behind, actually. I could soft soap it and say that we've made headway, but it's actually, we've still got a far way to go. And reading aloud is actually one of the best ways to activate literacy and to get literacy started. The million-word gap, where most children around the world will not have heard 1 million words by the age of 5, means that we've got a lot of work to do. And in South Africa specifically, organizations like Nali Bali, like the Bookery, like the Otto Foundation are working towards getting action out there and actually enabling kids with books, putting books into their hands, putting stories into their environments.
Helene, thank you so much for sharing those good ideas, those insights. Helene Kutsia from the Publishers Association of South African Literacy Committee. And I mentioned that bingo card. I've shared it on my Instagram, but such great ideas. Read to a pet or a pot plant. Read a poem out loud. Read by flashlight. Discover a brand new author. Read a book that has been turned into a movie. Read a book about animals. Read outside in the fresh air. Read a classic children's book. There are so many brilliant books to read. It's World Read Aloud Day today. Read aloud to someone or something.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the eager beaver driving to meet the woman of his dreams. Butterflies in his stomach, GPS on full volume. He checks his hair for the 7th time.
Looking good.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a possible love story on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
At Checkers, 2026 is better with over 1,500 deals. Like Lancewood Double Cream Yogurt 700 grams or 1 kg tub, any 2 for 79 Rand, save 31 Rand. Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink 2 litre, any 2 for 45 Rand, save 11 Rand. And Kellogg's Cornflakes 1 kg for 74.99, save 10 Rand. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
Hi, Mandy. Thanks for a good show. Always enjoy it. All those people that moan about the DA and the DA leadership, I'm sure they love totally failed service delivery, and I'm sure they love qualified audits, and I'm sure they love municipalities that are failing left, right, and center. So keep moaning, people. You must be living in those areas and you must be enjoying it.
Well, thank you very much. So many views coming through today about John Steenhuisen's announcement. I expect that to continue throughout the afternoon. So keep listening, keep sharing. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk was brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
U.S. President Trump signs the extension of AGOA into law, and John Steenhuisen shifts focus to ministerial role as he abandons DA re-election. Good afternoon, I'm Mikey Malapo. Authorizes the African Growth and Opportunity Act. The move follows months of deliberations by U.S. lawmakers